Peace. What's good? This is your brother C Knowledge, aka Doodlebug from the world famous Diggable Planets.
Hey yo, this your man CHJ of Duck City. This your man in the cut of Duck City.
Hey yo, this is Ed Dav.
Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy Hells, yeah.
Rockin' Yellow in the building, now we turned up.
Yeah, it's your boy Neff Dallas, and I'm rocking with the Mixtape Show.
To the Mixtape Show.
Mixtape Show. Mixtape Show.
The Mixtape Show.
The Mixtape Show.
My main man's DJ Kawan.
DJ Kawan.
DJ Kawan.
With DJ Kawan, blessing him like the Holy Quran.
Fire Rock Zone, Kawan J.
Let's go!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Mixtape Show Listening Sessions, and the Mixtape Show Listening Sessions is brought to you by MJ's Hip Hop Connects this week. And I'm excited about this project that we're going to be reviewing tonight. Legends in the Game came back and slapped us with another one this time around too. We got Speech from Arrested Development joining us, so we're going to be talking about this new album, Don't Fight Your Demons. And how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really good. I just celebrated a 52nd birthday, and I'm just, I'm still on a high.
So all around, just good energy right now. Got a birthday, got the birth of a new album. I can tell you what I've been hearing about this project. Well, let me start from what I've been listening to. I listened to this project many times over so far since you guys dropped it, and
thank you.
It's amazing. It's incredible. I personally, when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, Speech is he was really writing some things on this album. You know what I mean? Production is A1. I love the subject matters and how you broke it down. And even from the album's first track, which we'll get into, set the tone for how the project's going to go. And I'm happy you guys are back. Don't Fight Your Demons, Arrested Development. So congratulations, sir, on this dope project for hip hop that you put out there.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. It really does. It really does.
So what have you been hearing? How first of all, how you feeling? You got the album out, and how you feeling about it right now?
I feel great because I didn't know how the response was going to be. Mm-hmm. Arrested Development, we've had like fans from obviously the early 90s. Mm-hmm. Some of those fans just like pop music, and then they like Arrested Development. They're not real hip hop fans. And then you have hip hop fans who like certain tracks from Arrested Development, but then feel like the rest of our tracks weren't hard enough. So then, and then you got our diehard Arrested Development fans that are there for everything. Yeah. So this record was so much more rooted in sort of that boom bap energy that I didn't know how it was going to be received. I didn't know if the sort of like straight up hip hop crowd was going to understand that, yeah, this is Arrested Development. We're not trying to be nothing else. We're who we are, but this is us. And then I didn't know if the crowd that knew us from mainstream radio was gonna feel like, okay, I still can get with this. Like, I love Tennessee, but this is 28 years later, and look at what they're doing now. Yeah. So, I was very pleased to find out, like the first day we dropped it, the response was like, oh my gosh. It was like a head tilt, like, oh my gosh. And that was what you want. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I was sitting out, I was turning off the air, and we was doing some traveling, and my partner was with me, and we listened to it. And the first thing he told me was, wow, Speech is really writing on this one. Have you heard that same kind of feedback as far as that?
Definitely. I mean, some people say, this is his best lyricism since he's come out. And then other people say, it's like he's getting better over time. You know what I mean? So, as an artist, you always want to hear that. Like, you want to hear, especially when you're in a genre like hip hop, which is just raunched with ageism. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, so when you hear somebody say, yo, he's really spitting nice, like, that's a compliment you want to hear as a MC that's been at it for as long as I have.
Yeah. And that's true. Ageism. That's such a crazy word, because hip hop's the only genre where when you get a certain age, people look at you like you can't rap no more. Like you forgot how to walk all of a sudden, or you forgot how to write. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And where
Yeah.
I come
As
from,
opposed to you're getting better. Like,
exactly.
yeah, I agree with
You
you.
have life experience, so why not? Why don't I want to hear those jewels that you're dropping now?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the production wise, I know we had Configure. He's been on the show a couple times, and he was kind of hinting towards this months ago, but he didn't want to spill the beans on it. So when I heard his production, I was like, he had a major part in the hands of producing these tracks. And what other producers do we have on this project?
So it's me, Configure, Chris Acosta, and Mark X, and that's it. So like, but I'll be honest, like the origin of this record and the feel of this record came from the collaboration between me and Configure, because I had heard his album with Jahi from Public Enemy and Forward Future, and I liked the sensibility of that record. Like I liked the fact that it was rooted in some like hip hop, boom bap type of backpack hip hop type of energy. But at the same time, the subject matter was something that as a 50-year-old man or older, I could still relate to that. Like, yeah, I love my hip hop, but he's talking about something that I can relate to.
Yeah.
So that was good. And so that's when I called up Configure or hit him up, I should say, on the email. And we started building on that. Like, okay, I'd love for you to do some production on a new Arrested Development album. And then I sent him tracks that I had already done, and we just started going back and forth, and it was good vibes right off the bat.
Yeah. Did this with creating this project, did it kind of was it refreshing for you as a writer and as an MC to kind of get in the studio and write to these tracks?
Yeah, definitely, because obviously some of them I wrote myself, others, but all of them I picked, like which ones did I want to write to, and I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I needed to accomplish a few things with this record. One was, show lyricism. And two was be an elder statesman in this hip hop world. Like I've been through so much. I've been doing this professionally for over 30 years. So I don't want to act like I'm new to this and I'm still shopping at the mall looking for the next hot girl. Like I wanted to make sure I was being true to all of the stuff I've been through over these years, instead of just try to make a relevant record for the young generation, which is a lot of times what I think even older artists try to do. Like they're trying to make a record for my daughter, because I have my daughter's 23, so they're trying to make a record for my daughter, and I for me, I was like, nah, I'd rather make a record for hip hop lovers out there around the world that grew up on our music, and they might be in their late 30s all the way to the 60s, and it's like these cats grew up with hip hop and they don't know any other way to rock, and I want to give them something like, yo, let me give you something that y'all would feel is a jewel,
Definitely. And don't fight your demons. Why do we title it that?
Well, it was really a philosophy of addiction and how to fight it. So like addiction for so many people, whether it's you're addicted to alcohol or addicted to food or addicted to drugs, it's like you try to fight it in what they call white knuckle it. And this concept is more so, okay, your addiction comes from something deeper than the drug itself. There's a root issue there. And the reason you're inviting these demons into your world is because it's covering up this root issue. So don't fight your demons. The concept is basically saying, invite your demons in, find out why they're there, why you want them there, and then you can replace them with something that's really valuable and positive, instead of the negative demonic forces that are, that you're sort of inviting into your world. So that's what the whole point is. Don't fight your demons. And I express my own demons, like on this record, whether it be my insecurities about not getting as much respect as I want as an MC, or whether it's, AD didn't get enough respect as a group to me, or all types of things.
We start. All right. Well, customary, what we do here with the listening sessions is we open it up with the opening track of the album, and this set the tone for real when I heard this. I live here in Dallas, Texas, so when I heard Pimp C's voice, I'm a transplant from New York to Dallas, but when I know the legacy that Pimp C has down here. When I heard his voice, I started smiling because I was like, yeah. And what he's saying with some jewels on there, and it's called Back Down. What was the mind state and what was the thought behind the process behind this track right here?
Yeah, as far as the tone, I was really going back and forth as to whether or not that should be the intro track or whether it should be like right after. I'm wanting to think it was right after Becoming. It was one or the other, and like for me personally, I decided to put it at the top of the album because I felt it was crazy hard, and I thought it would have the most shock value for an Arrested Development record to start with that.
Yeah.
And lyrically, I wanted to really address a lot of things. So like I wanted to come out the gate swinging, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to address everything from, you know, gangster lyrics that aren't from real gangsters. I wanted to address, you know, the government and all of the like corruption that is going on and propaganda that's going on, from stealing natural resources from other countries. I mean, like killing people and covering it up with different black op organizations, all the way to your like new school playlist influencers that are like sort of treating veteran hip hop artists like we're brand new to this, and like not letting me be on their mixtapes and then on their playlists. And so like all of it, like back down, you know what I'm saying? So like the whole concept was like just back down, like back down, you know what I mean? So that was the whole thing.
It was dope. It was kind of like a syllabus for the album. This is what we're gonna learn this year. You know what I mean? All right. Well, let's jump into this back down real quick. We got the mixtape show listening sessions. Brother Speech is joining us here. Appreciate your time, sir, and this Don't Fight Your Demons. And let's get into this first joint, man, and we'll be right back.
I'm not dissing nobody, man. I'm just telling you that if we don't clean it up, we're going to lose everything we fought to get, man. We don't clean out our own closet. Who going to clean it for?
How come the only people on the radio that talk about how great it is to kill each other are black? Where are the white killers on the radio? Where are the white AK-47 shooters? Where are the white drug dealers? The truth is they don't exist. And the question is why? Why don't they exist? Do white people not kill people? Do white people not use AK-47s to shoot each other? Do white people not do drugs? Do they not deal drugs? Of course they do. But why is it that it doesn't make it to our mainstream radio? Or maybe when white people get up and talk about being drug dealers and AK-47 killers, maybe it's even sicker than that. Maybe when white people do it, they're accused of acting black.
What's up? Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Hey yo, you claim that you bang, it's insane. A white supremacist campaign, but we're slain, it's mundane. Rappers killed in public domains, and we just tweet things. Hashtag, gone too soon, on to the next thing. Death has become an art, rapping with hand grenades. Osama bin Laden sure ain't got nada on drama. Secretly ordered by the CIA. Black ops with the DEA. Black cops with these white cops on these black blocks, and they must obey. Reconnaissance on citizens, they melanated, they innocent. Let's elevate our militants and celebrate our consciousness, yeah. Hey! Alright, I like a merry-go-round, but I ain't merry, I'm down. Cause I see wholesale violence packaged up and polished. Astonishing who's admonished when poverty is, I promise, back down. They feed our souls with lust and hoes. We won't even discuss these woes. We chose to candy coat our vote. Back down, can't have it both ways. Drug dealer lavish plus aid. Classy and savage is what they had did to us when we were slaves. No way. Consciousness protects me. You can't say you won't when you don't know the recipe. Get down. Yeah, back down, baby. You can't talk about Jews and gays as these people you be slaying. Back down. Why ain't the mainstream afraid of you? That says it all. They play to you. You play to them. You're both involved, so all back down. Don't be no clowns. We're ancient. We're profound. Original. Be proud. Hey. Back down. Things should not be the same until the freedom bell rings. Thugs are not revolutionaries, there's a difference, they're not the same. Never. You quote Malcolm X a king, but you're still not an excellent king. So you execute excellent things in your new life. To your old life, back down. I'm problem solving, I'm evolving. That old self ain't coming around. But nowadays, I'm coming around to spend time with my child. Pow. Here's my check, I'm out. I regret being foul. Your respect for me will come around. Till then, I back down. You critics get a smackdown. Who are you to tell me speech what's not or is a hot track now? Back down. When I was younger and there was elders around, I would've sat down. Now you pasty cats got a playlist thinking you running rap now? Back down. We did shows with Tribe and Wu-Tang, PE and Fugees and Gangstar. We go live and we sang. And we say, hey, 30 years or more. Worldwide tour, yours. You ain't thought of that before. Back down. I thought of that before. I thought of that before, but you don't honor it no more. Back down. Respect for the past is something you deeply lack now. I ain't bitter either. I've had mad success. This ain't lashing out. I'm giving wisdom because the system will stop giving rations out. And you will be poor like you were before, taking that faster route. Disaster route. Who's the masters now? We're the masters now. Out of the crown or back down.
The truth is, in America, black murder is normal. And racism is like the millstone that churns along in the background. It just goes generation in and generation out, keeps turning out the same generational outcomes. Racism is like the nicotine stains left on the walls after the smoking tenants move out. They take the couch, they take the clock, they take the picture, but the evidence that they've been there still remains.
At the end of these records we listen to, we don't get nothing out of them no more, man. We don't get no social commentary. We ain't getting no kind of knowledge out these records. Everybody just talking about how many chains they got on and how much dope they sold.
Back down, back down, back down. So that was the first joint me and my partner was listening to, and he just kind of looked at me and gave me that hip hop head nod like, yo. what album is this from? I was like, that's a new Arrested Development right there.
Word up.
So with you being in the game for so long, and you know, as we are, a lot of things have evolved, but a lot of things have not evolved. And this is police brutality. This is black on black crime. This is, you know, those things. How does speech absorb that? What's going on right now, to where these are like, man, I've talked about this stuff 30 years ago, and now I'm still talking about the same exact thing.
Yeah, and you know, it's frustrating, right? Because you know, I know it made an impact 30 years ago. I know that. Like, I go around the planet and I meet fans everywhere that's like, yo, you helped raise me. Other people like, yo, I became conscious because of you. So I know it's made an impact, but I think what we all have to realize is there is a war being waged against us. And if we don't take it seriously, then there's going to be a lot of slaughter. And there has been a lot of slaughter over these years. There's a waged war against us as far as propaganda, making us look like violent, you know, ignorant people in our music, in our entertainment. In so many instances, there's a war against us with you know, finances and opportunities. There's a war against us with the police and over policing. And so it's so many things that's going against us. And if we're not aware of it, then of course we're going to end up in similar places than we were, you know, 20 odd years ago. So we've got to become more woke in a sense, as they say now. So that's what I feel is so important. So I think the music is needed. There's a new generation to some extent. There's a lot of people being introduced to Arrested Development for the first time, and that's a great thing, you know. And at the same time, of course, I'm frustrated that this music would even have to be made in 2020.
Yeah. And have you had the newer generation kind of, you know, reach out to you as kind of like, oh wow, I didn't know you guys made this type of music, you know, prior to this album or anything like that? Have you had that kind of experience yet?
Yeah, we have. Like, the truth is, a lot of younger people didn't even know the old material, so they're getting introduced to Arrested Development right now. And I like that because, you know, there's a lot to dig into. It's almost like if you're on Netflix and you find a show that you really love and you realize that there's 12 seasons, you know what I mean? It's like, word up. I'm binge watching this for like the next month, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's what people are doing.
Yeah. And it's definitely dope too that you guys make that good quality music that it stands the test of time, and it's very organic. So whenever we go back to listen to it again, you can still mentally eat off of those type of joints. You know what I mean? So what about let's talk about Amazing. Let's talk what was the process in creating that track right there, and the thought behind that?
Yeah, like for Amazing, I was really going back to how much of an impact the group has made, but how many obstacles we had to overcome to get there. So I talked a lot about my personal experiences living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is where I'm from, Midwest, and where my man Twan Mack is from. We grew up same city. And the truth is, a lot of my forward thinking, Afrocentricity, you know, dress the way I would dress with dashikis. And I talk about it on People Every Day back in the 90s. But I'm really going back into that more because that was a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome in order to witness this amazing career that I've had. So like, really, that's what that song is about. And at the same time, it's sort of letting people know that if you didn't know how the music industry, you know, tends to, you know, promote the most vile content and squash down a lot of the conscious content in order to fill privatized prisons, in order to make us as Black people less human in the eyes of so many other races of people around the world. And so I'm sort of hipping people to like this amazing journey, but also some of the obstacles that I, you know, have been through to get here. So it's that mixture of things. And I shout out all the group members of Arrested Development from pretty much day one, since we were signed at least, all the way to now. So I think that that's cool too.
Yeah, that was dope when I heard that too. That made me, it took me back too, to hearing those names again.
Yeah.
It was kind of coming full circle, you know what I mean?
And that's what I loved about it. It's full circle to me. Like, okay, we're bringing it all back now. Like all of that ancestral and you know, creative power, let's bring it all back on this record.
Yeah. So as you're elder statesman now in the hip hop game, when you share those personal things, is it easier for you now to share those personal stories as compared to back in the day when you guys first came out? Is it easier for you personally?
Yeah, I think it is. It is. I think it's a lot easier because the older you get, the less insecure you are about how people are going to judge you about it. You know, like as I've been learning about myself, I realized that I didn't want people to know my struggles because I felt like, well, if they know my weaknesses or my struggles, then they're going to come at me.
Yeah.
And now as I've gotten older, I've realized that my strength is my weakness in a sense. Well, the Bible says that, but also it's true that the more you're able to expose your weaknesses, the less somebody really can use that against you, because you yourself are willing to, you know, put it out there. This is what I have been through, and this is what I struggle with. This is where I'm thinking, and there's really hardly anything someone could do about that.
There we go. All right, let's get into this amazing. We got Speech from Arrested Development. Just released this really, really dope album. I think I shared the story too before we get into it. I think last time we talked, my great grandmother, who's still alive, she'll be 100 in March. And I told you how she loved Tennessee and she loved all your records. And I was telling her that me and you gonna talk again, and she was like, "Well, tell him I said hi." I was like, "Okay." So 100 years old, still kicking, and still, you know, remembers all those stories. So yes, shout out to my grand. Shout out to my grand. So let's get into this amazing, and we'll be right back. This is the Mixtape Show listening sessions. Let's go.
For 5 years, he was their token Negro. Freeman, you people must serve. For 5 years, he kept his cool.
And you'd be happier with a mop in your hand.
And in return, they taught him how to spy, how to fight, how to kill. And then he turned gangs of ghetto kids into a highly trained guerrilla army.
Yeah. One day I changed and rearranged my brain. My body had stayed the same. My inner had entered new planes. Visualizing terrains, horizons were ever so strange. My mind got better with age, I walked in strength. Milwaukee was opposite of me. So many jocking to judge me. They kept on knocking my locks and mocking most everything on me. As if a gift from heaven would weaponize me to be lovely. Despite the spite and intentional ugly, I rose to the concrete of my foes. Yeah, Sanji to my aunties up on Buford Highway Road. AT alien exposed to such culture shocking lows. All the roaches encroaching all over my food and my clothes. So far from the Midwest, where I gave more to get less. I prayed for it like a witness, and I slaved for it like a labor, and I paid for it with interest. Picture me like Pinterest. Haters got so fired up, bringing me to smoke like incense. Wow.
Don't try blowing no smoke. You can't comprehend. This is amazing. It's out of the ordinary.
It don't take time for me to blow your mind.
We did it. Do I have to tell you how this industry goes down? They wanna promote us as the lowest things around. Stereotypical images of blacks all around. Police beat us to the ground. Let's go. Do I have to tell you how this industry goes down? promote the thugs with the criminal sound. Stereotypical images and white supremacist images of us never innocent and killed.
Kill snitches and witnesses, catch the businesses, exploit us sexually, keep us intellectually primitive, sedate the sensitive, nullifying all their initiative to ever unify, just relying on representatives. Our English is not seen as this opposite of geniuses. The truth is meaningless, they deliberately been deceiving us. I know I'm hot, give me the Glock, hold up, let me finish. If I violate probation, the judge will extend my sentence, I'm for real.
I feel the ills, U.S. conceals the kills from Libya to Brazil. It's not out of the ordinary, my brethren.
You can't comprehend dollar bill, y'all.
Worship money, damn monsters have a ball. Holly Berry, friendly with the enemy is never the call. Powernomics, this by Dr. Claude. Leading with your squad, get money for us, dumbing down for what? We've been sleeping enough. Wake up and turn your radio up.
Turn it up. Say turn it up. Say turn it up. Say turn it up. Say 10. Come on. 9. 8. Come on. 7. Come on. 6. Come on. 2. This is amazing. Don't try blowing no smoke. You can't comprehend.
Because
This is amazing. Don't try blowing no smoke. You can't comprehend.
this is also amazing. Shout out to Early Tariq. Shout out to Razadon. Shout out to Moncho Ishii. Shout out to Baba OJ. To Headliner. To the extended family, Dion Ferris. Nadira. Shout out to Larnay. Shout out to DJ Kimmett. Shout out to Agile. All of y'all will always be family.
This is amazing.
Genius and a superior beat creator.
The world is ours. We talk to one another and we grab our power. This is our revolution.
And the freedom train, which has already left.
You know, this morning we're going to talk about the image of black men in our society. Black men are 6 times as likely as white men to be murder victims. They are 2.5 times as likely to be unemployed. They finish last in practically every socioeconomic measure from infant mortality to life expectancy. And some feel that black men in America seem almost an endangered species. Well, it's interesting that many people perceive black men as less intelligent, less productive, more hostile than the rest of society.
Amazing. That's an amazing track right there. You had a line in there talking about the prison system. How did the documentary do? I know you just released a documentary. Was it 16 and behind bars? Was that
Bars.
it?
16 bars.
16 bars. How'd that go as far as the release and everything like that?
It's been amazing. Like no pun intended, we did film festivals across the United States and Canada and in Europe too. We've won maybe 20 awards now.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's on Amazon Prime and it's also on YouTube for pay. And
Nice.
it's like $6, like $5.99, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want people to check it out. It's called 16 Bars. I go into a jail in Richmond, Virginia for 10 days and I write music with the inmates, what I call residents. And it was just so powerful, man. Like just seeing these men's lives, and they really do most of the expression. I'm just trying to take you through the journey as a viewer, and it's incredible, man. It's really great. So we also released an album on it, and it's really moving. The first day that we ever did a screening of that film was in San Rafael, California.
Mm-hmm.
And after the film, there wasn't a dry eye in the building. Everybody was just like blown away. And we've won Best Film. We've won, audience favorite at numerous film festivals across the nation and world. So it's been really a good reception.
All right, congratulations on that, man. I love seeing stuff like that compared to Locked Up or 90 days in or 60 days in. That, you know what I'm saying, where they're glorifying it. It's good that you use the positive in that and gave those brothers and sisters a chance out there. Did you guys work with female inmates as well, or just male inmates on that one?
No, I did. I worked with one female inmate that, she was, so basically, in order for you to work with me, you had to be a part of this program.
Okay.
And in order for you to be part of the program, you had to have great behavior inside your cell block. So I was working with a sister who's actually a great rhymer, and she did something against the code of what she needed to follow, so she got kicked out of the program. So we couldn't, we couldn't continue to work with her.
Yeah.
But she was great. So it ended up being 4 brothers that I worked with on the film, that you'll see on the film at least. And so.
Dope, man. I love that. I love hearing that, man. I love hearing that. So do or die, the mantra. Let's talk about that. I like this joint from the production value, and again, Speech was on his pen and pad in the corner writing up some stuff. How did this track come about?
Well, this was a configure track, and he really, this track to me reminded me of like just straight up boom bap. You know what I mean? But yet I like the soulful elements in it too, musically. So the singing that goes throughout a lot of the, the verses, and the intro to Me by Nature, it sort of reminded me of the beginning of Otis with Kanye and Jay-Z on the Watch the Throne joint. So like, I don't know, I just felt a good soulful energy, but lyrically I wanted to really talk about the do or die mantra that so many Black people are raised in, this idea that, if you don't do X, Y, or Z, then you're going to die, what I mean? And the good and the bad. So, I mean, I talk about my experience, which was, striving to do music, but at the same time, having all these obstacles again. And then at the same time, friends around me, either committing suicide or being murdered or in the drug game where they're locked up. And so many of us have those similar experiences in the Black community, unfortunately. So I'm just addressing that whole mindset of how that comes about, this do or die mindset.
Yeah. And what are some of the things that kept you from going sideways and going left? Anything in particular that stayed with you from making that wrong turn over the years?
Yeah, for me personally, a few things. One is my mother and father are activists. So when I was younger, they always encouraged us to talk about the issues that were going on in the Black community and solutions to those issues. And then, so that was one thing. And then second thing was, I don't know, I think being behind the scenes, because my dad owned a nightclub. So at the nightclub, you get to see, like, I was there before the lights turned down and the disco ball and all of that turns on. So I could see the realness of the illusion. Like, I could see behind the curtain, in a sense, of a lot of things that I think other people would go to the club in order to escape. I was seeing the reality of it. And so it never caught my attention the same way. And that's like, I have 2 kids, 26 and 23. The way me and my queen have raised them is similarly, is that we, instead of making them so attracted to some of the darker sides of things, we expose it, like, and not tell them don't do this, but more so expose it, like, here's what's happening.
Yeah.
And here's what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And then it helps them. So like, they go on tour with me, and they've been, my kids, when they were younger, they would go to the red light district in Hamburg, Germany, which is basically where the prostitutes are in the windows, selling their bodies. They would go to the clubs, and there'd be strippers over here, and there'd be, they saw it all, and we would just talk about it instead of making it so alluring. We would make it more realistic so people could, so our kids could understand what's going on. And to me, this song is similar in that way.
That's true, man. Because I have a 20-year-old stepson, and I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old now. So my 5-year-old, he just started kindergarten this year, but I guess they say he's advanced. That's because whenever he was born, we had him on the plane with us all the time. Every time we traveled, he would go out with us, and we would, show him the things, and we would say, this is what you'll see in the book, but this is what it really is, kind of stuff. So now the teacher's telling us, the teacher's like, well, I'm teaching a lesson, and he's telling me about the stuff that he's already seen, and he can relate to it. And that's true, man. You got to open them up and just let them live, just let them experience things.
Exactly.
At the school, because it's crazy now. It's like we got to give him more work just because he's like this with it, because he's experienced.
That's
so
hot.
I like that. Yeah, dope, man, dope.
That's fantastic.
Let's do or die real quick, and we'll be right back. Speech from Arrested Development joining us. The project is on all streaming platforms. However you listen to your music, that's how we get it. Yep. All right. Dope. All right, let's get into this, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, can you turn it up a little bit in my ear?
Crickets chirping in a faraway place. A summer breeze blowing, love in your face. But the moon.
Milwaukee has been named the worst place to live for African Americans. Segregation, unemployment, and education, just 3 of the areas where this survey says our city falls short.
Bigger. Yeah. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, this is real deal. Almost every party I rock. Yeah. Chances are I could've got shot. Yeah. Suicides and murders all around me. Childhood friends gone with the wind. Do or die, the mantra. Yeah, do or die, the mantra. Some friends sold that white girl or that ganja. For me, it was selling life music to get you onto. Either way, I would say it was do or die, the mantra. Yep, do or die, the mantra. Some friends sold that white girl or that ganja. For me, I was selling life music to get you onto. Either way, I would say it was do or die, the mantra. That I was involved with, read them all with, kicked it with at parties and talk-ish and was hawkish with, was dudes from Sherman Park to 3rd Street, especially around 24th and Capitol near Rufus King. I was literally the only capper while we're toasting. Never rapped with them heavier cats, the black, like Casa Nostra. Going to Detroit, did rap shows with ghetto promoters. Picture kids, 11 years old, selling dope, all shooters and no poses. It was quite literally right under our noses. An epidemic with no limits. Quick cash turned clicks bad, all of it quick fast. Flirting with darkness brought a serious whiplash, and by then, hoods was getting bad. Had pregnant mothers down on their knees, doing things that might require some knee pads. Sons buying ski masks, do or die, that was the mantra. Families going under, almost every party I rock. Yeah. Chances are I could've got shot. Yeah. Suicides and murders all around me. Childhood friends gone with the wind. Do or die, the mantra. Yeah, do or die, the mantra. Some friends sold that white girl or that ganja. For me, it would be life music to get you onto. Either way, I would say it was do or die, the mantra.
So all my partners and my family from Magnolia, we some soldiers, we ride or die. Survivors, we the coldest, can't control us, don't even try. Quit talking, boy, come show us. You oppose us, it's suicide. It's best to get to know us. The Panthers, we the champs from Eureka to stamps. We rock them helmets with lamps. We got for wheelers and rams. We got with woofers and amps. Complete the boom, the beat, the speaker box. Man, know you got that Yola. We don't whip around with weaker rocks. Legalize the ganja, why don't ya? Buy dope or smoker since a youngster. A fisher and a hunter. High the eye, philosophy and wonder. How to change the laws to keep us under. Then sit back and enjoy the thunder. Look into my eyes, realize I've been traumatized. Lost my best friend to homicide. One to suicide. Man, the pain I feel inside. When my dad and mama died. Rest in peace to Owen Skeet. Please pray for me and Tweet.
Almost every party I rock. Yeah. Chances are I could've got shot. Yeah. Suicides and murders all around me. Childhood friends gone with the wind. Do or die, the mantra. Yeah, do or die, the mantra. Some friends sold that white girl or that ganja. For me, it was selling life music to get you onto. Either way, I would say it was do or die, the mantra. Yep, do or die, the mantra. Some friends sold that white girl or that ganja. For me, I was selling life music to get you onto. Either way, I would say it was do or die, the mantra.
There were a million black boys last year that wanted to play in the NBA. Of that million, only 400,000 will even make it to play high school ball. Of that 400,000, only 4,000 will be able to make it to play college ball. Of that 4,000, only 35 will make it to the NBA. Of that 35, only 7 start. And the average life in the NBA is 4 years. So the real problem is we have a million brothers looking for 7 full-time jobs that last 4 years. There's no question that there's a direct relationship between images and self-esteem. Abraham Lincoln found out very early when you have 300 slaves on a plantation and one master, it takes a lot of work. Why don't you let them go? But don't teach them who they are. To control their history, control their images. Then you won't have to watch them. Whoever controls the mind will also control the body.
Do or die is the mantra. Do or die is the mantra. When you wrote to this particular record, because the way you were tap dancing over that beat and skating on it and getting your Michael Jackson on, how did it feel when you was writing to this one?
It was one of those tracks where I didn't write. So I literally went into the studio and just started laying down literal thoughts and then just, but punch it in, punch it out, just going literally little section by little section. So that was one of those type of tracks.
Nice, man. So as this journey of yours has just been amazing, and you've helped out thousands and thousands and millions of people get through the tough times through the music and with your businesses, and you've you've given a lot of yourself. Do you ever sit back and kind of think about that sometimes? It's like, wow, I'm living my purpose and my destiny right now.
I do. Me and my queen talk about it a lot. Like well, first of all, I'm 52, but I feel like I've been living 100 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So like, because it's been so condensed, man. Like I talk about it on some of the, like I did a Vlad interview recently. I told him this. It's like, come and a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of, in and outs. And it's just been an amazing thing. And to know that I'm living my purpose, it feels incredible. It really does.
And I like the fact that just, from a youngin' loving the music and growing into the music and me being 41, I've never publicly seen speech go sideways. You know what I'm saying? Where there was that thing like, oh, he had that one bad moment, publicly and nothing like that. It seemed like you've always been yourself. You've always been in character and you've never got out of who you are and let the industry affect you in that negative sense. And I've always appreciated that. Like, artists like yourself or Nas, I used to always like kind of follow your guys' energy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I always felt naturally. Whereas like, that's how I am naturally. So I used to always kind of lean towards you guys and watch you guys publicly and just kind of carry myself the same way,
Word up.
So COVID is kind of taking a sledgehammer to a lot of people this year as far as just being regular. How have you been able to kind of cope with it and move around with it right now?
It's been a journey. All of our touring has been totally canceled, postponed. And even tours that we're hoping to do in 2021, it's a different business model where everybody's really scared. And so for me personally, we've been sort of flipping our lives upside down. A lot of friends of mine are doing the same, where I've been doing a whole lot more yard work and like house projects, you know what I mean? Cutting down trees and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And also this record was created during this whole COVID-19 atmosphere. So I'm really grateful for just the time to be able to focus on this kind of project. Me and my man Configure, like I said, just going back and forth on tracks. And so it's been that kind of thing. And then my queen, she's a business owner too. And she owns a juicing company where she does organic juice. And I talk about it on the song Moses. And so like she is really starting to expand that business to different locations. And so we've been working on that too. So it's been an interesting time. And thank God none of our initial family has gotten COVID, but we have had close friends that got COVID-19. We've had even artist friends of mine who died from it. So it's definitely a tough reality, but thank God it hasn't affected my immediate family.
Yeah, I was just thinking back the things that we've witnessed just in my 41 years. Like I'm the MTV generation, then the Nintendo generation, and then the space shuttle blowing up, and then 9/11, and you know what I mean? Just like just this weird stuff, and Michael Jackson passing, and Prince passing, and Biggie and Pac, and it's just like we take these blows every so many years, man. This is crazy. And now dealing with COVID, so it's gonna be a great story to tell. Down the road, whenever I write my book.
And this generation has been through some absolutely life-changing events, man. It's been amazing.
And even dealing with the politics now, it's just people aren't gonna believe this when they read back on this history.
No, they won't believe it.
So the project is available on all our usual streaming platforms. Do you guys have it available on the website as well for purchase?
We have it on our website, which is arresteddevelopmentmusic.com. We have the lyrics on our website. We're about to drop the vinyl, where it's two-tone vinyl. We got 2 vinyl records for this one album because we wanted it to be nice and thick and sound great. So one vinyl record is like a chocolate brown, and the other one's sort of like a light yellow, and it's really cool. And so we really encourage people to pick up the vinyl. And even if you already downloaded the record, and just keep it in your collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you feel about the technology, the way the music industry is moving now? Do you miss the old analog days where, like you said, vinyl was a norm and cassettes and CDs?
I do. Like overall, I miss it because I miss being able to go to the record store and just that communal conversational thing of just talking about music. To me, I miss that. And then I also miss putting a record on and just looking at the cover and just, I don't know, it's like reading a great book. You go somewhere else and it's just, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I also miss the time it took to record projects. So like, ironically, when I used to record, like I'm in my studio and I used to have a Neve board, which is a German board that is like the Beatles used it. Lenny Kravitz is the one that told me to get one. And it's analog. And so it sounds incredible. And I would have a team of people right here in this room. And it would be an engineer and an assistant engineer. And one's working on the tape machine. One's getting my mic set up. And there was this communal and community-oriented energy put into each record. Whereas now, like I was describing, like it's much easier, which is cool, but it's like, you know, me and Configure, I could send a track to him in about 5 minutes. He can send me a track back in 2 minutes and we're just rolling, you know, and I don't need anybody in here with me. I can do this whole record, you know what I mean, by myself if I wanted to. So it's a totally different, you know, energy when it comes to the changes, you know, and some are great because it's more convenient. And then some, like even a lot of the sounds that people use, a lot of them are canned from various companies, you know, so a lot of the stuff sounds very similar, you know what I mean? So some people love that. And me personally, I feel like that's a detriment to the overall music industry and to the fans. So that's, you know, everybody has their own opinion, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I miss opening up the CDs and reading the producers and the engineers and where it was recorded at, and even the pictures. You know, when artists take the pictures for that specific album and the fashion and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's just now it's just you download and listen, but you really don't know much about it anymore. You know what I mean?
No, you don't know too much of anything.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Speech. I'll tell you what. Since we brought it up earlier, we'll close it out with the Moses joint. And again, congratulations on this album. It's definitely a dope album. I have it in my personal collection. It's on my phone. It travels with me everywhere I go. Downloaded it, purchased it, and now that you said it's gonna be a physical, I'm gonna have to give me that vinyl too whenever that drops. So I'm gonna be checking out the website and can't wait for that to come out.
Thank you, man. Mad appreciate it. Mad appreciate it.
Anybody wanna shout out before we get out of here?
Yeah, I want to shout out Configure. I want to shout out my man Chris Acosta, and shout out my man Mark X. They all produced on this record. I got to shout out my team from Vagabond, my man Mike Mullis, who you probably contacted to get this interview sent through. My queen Yolanda, my sister-in-law Tiffany Williams. They're all part of my Vagabond team. And of course, the Arrested Development crew, my man JJ Boogie, Fareed Ali, One Love, who's on this record, of course, and the rest of the crew. So, you know, this is like all my peoples that are, you know, part of the fam.
There we go. There we go. And how do you, I think we talked about it earlier, but one more time, how do you finally feel to release this beautiful project out to the public? How does it make you feel personally?
I'm telling you, it's unlike, well, I'll say this, it's the best response we've had for an Arrested Development record since the first album. So if you can imagine how I feel, this is 30 years later, I feel like a full circle 160 moment, you know, or 180 moment. It's incredible, and I'm very excited, you know, to continue the movement, but I'm just living in this moment.
Nice. Yeah.
One thing I didn't get a chance to do when we had such great success in the first album, I didn't breathe it in as much. Like we were rolling, man. And so this time, and I mean, this record is not selling like that first album. Don't get me wrong. It's very likely no records are selling like we did on the first album nowadays. But it's this feeling of really wanting to breathe this excitement in and just enjoy it.
Especially in this short attention span era where, you know,
exactly,
it's like an EP. You got to put out an EP. Nobody really listens to full LPs anymore. But this is a slick record, man, and I definitely appreciate what you're doing for the culture with this one. And it's like I said, it's in my personal collect, and I can't wait to get that that vinyl to play on my turntables here.
Thanks, man.
No problem. All right, Speech. Well, we thank you for joining us here in the Mixtape Show, and Come on back whenever we got something else to talk about, man. I definitely love to chop it up with you again and have a happy and safe holidays. We're coming up on the holiday season, and a prosperous new year to you, brother.
You too, brother. Stay strong.
All right, we'll be right back.
I want to speak about making choices. The Bible records that Moses, when he became of age, he made a choice. He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter in the eyes of right-thinking members of society. This was an unpopular choice, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God.
I broke acre for acres, then I bought more than 10 acres. That's how I fight against these racists. Even my third eye had LASIK, so I've been seeing 2020 since 93, just covering the basics. Everyday people in the public, fans screaming, we want more, I love it. People every day during the encore. Back home, open up my barn door. John Deere tractor, pull it out. Riding more for the mule and 40 acres that never made it around my house. Slave away in my indoor office. Offices is for bosses. Any winner has had losses and falsehoods poured all over him. Don't get lost in the sauces. I asked Jesus, can he save me? I felt myself drowning in these ladies, breaking marital bonds for quick relations. Took my wife on the road to nip temptations. I am no longer a Rolling Stone like Brian Jones. No large bodies of water in Georgia. Large bodies of water give me euphoria. Menominee River Parkway off Concordia. Milwaukee, Wisconsin lakefront down at Memorial. It's sacred soil. Nothing you know of me has been a front. Not an actor, an activist, no stunts. And everything I teach to the music is roots. My quest is love within the booth. Not about what I've done, but what I do. Not married to the game, but to the groove. Not married to the fame, but to the tune. If you were to ask the same from the who's who, I bet there's a disconnect like Bluetooth. To my true blues, it's not new news to you. Who can offset me now? Unlike the Migos, take off nationwide in the Prevos. Crunch time as if I'm eating Doritos. Spicy sweet chili is my stilo. It's also the way I act towards Evo. 30 years, same girl, black. Not just dreaming, it's all facts. Career on Wikipedia, a true poet. I don't have to do no explaining, cause y'all know it, knew it. I have never once made an entry, fans do it. Simply, I just MC. Real life, I made it, I'm not making it. Real life, I took it, I'm not taking it. Authentic vintage, no mistaking it. Grammys on my shelf, never faking it. All I'm asking for is some respect. That's not asking for more than I should get. I know you want success, I can see it, but it's one thing to want it, another to be it. I've been it, and I'm still not finished, cause I'm just too cold. I said it before, don't know, now you know. Check my wife, she's gold, I'm a gold digger. And I'm bagging organic juice where they sold liquor. And I'm a known sipper, big tipper, culture giver, Uber lifter. You ride with me, I ride with ya. With 2 children in the quiver. And when I speak, some shiver when I deliver. Ancestral transmitter, exactly why I could never be a nigga. Stay focused, no hocus pocus. Made more than one opus. Broke open doors the media usually closes. Art and seas and oceans. Exodus, slavery, existence, Moses.
The mixtape show?
Yeah, Zero Mind Production. No pompous in rap industry, reaching out Johnny Maji. That shut up run, I quit money. Hold on, baby, while I rap my money. Don't dance, lyrics boogie, dance with the stars. Not really, might not sell what I rap. Actually, straight from Mecca, God action. Some MCs so shelter, I lit up that ether. These snakes try to slither, for their force I shatter. Loose lips, my sinking ship, so I'm going like Pearl Harbor. Just kidding, I love America like propaganda. Love America, love America, love America. I see the sunlight, got to stay alive. Suffered 1,000 nights before I saw the sunlight. I see the sunlight, got to stay alive. Living in the light, live the life. Suffered 1,000 nights before I saw the sunlight. rich. Never choke on my aspirations. Riding like I don't like riding. Wait, I'm pushing these weights. Gotta make it out, get paid in full. Wait, I'm serving this light. Working the dark to shine bright. Street dreams are made by cream. Who am I to disagree? Next in line, can't you see? Everybody's looking for green. Raise bars while I increase bars. Have fun with these monkey bars. Commercial free donation, please. This mass feels truly business. I see the sunlight, got to stay alive. Living in the light, live the life. Suffered 1,000 nights before I saw the sunlight. Sunlight. I see the sunlight, got to stay alive. Living in the light, live the life. Suffered 1,000 nights before I saw the sunlight. Sunlight.
Okay, catch me never, never catch me. I'm back like it never left me. My back is like Nat Turner's as far as how they neglect me. And yet we know who's king, whose crown was never threw down. Cause no one made sense to catch a few rounds. And I knew how this would all turn. No turns from off words, no turns from off curbs. You signed up, this all yours. We all heard the rhetoric of keeping this heaven sent and speaking benevolence and eagles as weapons. And this is what I was left up in. And I made a pie from it. From where if you got a roof, you get the drop in it. Coast upon the roof and get the drop from it. The irony of both being the top and what the topic is. And that's just how I'm rocking it. And you now rocking with a connoisseur and all the balls. Cutting all the part and off. Ended mine, started yours. What you thought they showed us all the blueprints to the Carter 4. Take that how you want. Triple meaning if you charting, Lord. Fuck with it, fuck